They spoke to no one. Not their teachers, not their parents, not even their own sister. For years, they lived in silence, two voices that only spoke to each other. When one finally broke the silence, the other had to die. This is the story of the silent twins, June and Jennifer Gibbons, a mystery that begins with love and ends with something far darker. The year was 1963. In a quiet town in Wales, twin girls were born to Caribbean parents who had recently moved from Barbados. Their names were June and Jennifer. From the very start, something about them was different. As babies, they were inseparable, always side by side, crying when separated, staring blankly at strangers, whispering in a language no one could understand. By the time they were toddlers, they had invented their own private way of speaking, a fast coded speech that only they could comprehend. To the outside world, it was gibberish. To them, it was everything. At school, things got worse. They were the only black children in their class, and their silence made them targets. Teachers tried to make them speak, but the twins refused. They sat motionless, their eyes fixed straight ahead. They were called strange, possessed, even cursed. Eventually, the school allowed them to leave early each day to avoid being bullied. Each afternoon, they would walk home together, step for step, side by side, never speaking a word aloud. But once they were home, the silence ended. Inside their room, they talked and laughed for hours in that same secret language. To everyone else, they were mute. But to each other, they were a world. As they grew older, they withdrew even more from reality. They stopped eating with their family. They locked themselves away, filling notebooks with strange stories and diary entries that mirrored each other. They created fantasy worlds where they were queens, admired and powerful. In their minds, they were no longer June and Jennifer. They were two halves of one being. Their connection was unsettling. When one twin moved, the other followed. When one stopped breathing, the other's pulse slowed. Even doctors couldn't explain it. Some believed it was a psychological condition called selective mutism. Others thought it was something supernatural, a psychic link. As teenagers, the twins became restless. They wanted freedom, excitement, something to break the silence. They began breaking things, starting fires and stealing, small at first, then dangerous. In 1981, they were arrested for arson and vandalism. They were just 19 years old when a judge sentenced them to Broadmoor Hospital, one of Britain's most infamous psychiatric institutions. Inside Broadmoor, the silence became suffocating. Doctors tried to separate them, believing Jennifer controlled June. When apart, they shut down completely, refusing to eat or move. But together, they whispered endlessly, laughing one minute, crying the next. Their bond was both their comfort and their curse. They kept diaries during those years. Jennifer once wrote, "We have become fatal enemies in love. We feel the same, we think the same. When one's happy, the other is not. One day she will have to die, and I will survive." After 12 long years in Broadmoor, they were finally approved for transfer to a lower security hospital. It was supposed to be a fresh start. But Jennifer told June something chilling before they left. She said, "I'm going to have to die. You're going to have to live for both of us." June thought it was a joke. It wasn't. On March 9th, 1993, during the transfer, Jennifer fell asleep in the back seat of the van. When they arrived, she wouldn't wake up. She was gone. Just like that. The cause of death was recorded as acute myocarditis, sudden inflammation of the heart. No poison, no injury, no reason. It was as if her body simply stopped living. June said later, "She gave up her life for me." After Jennifer's death, something unbelievable happened. June began to speak. She talked freely with doctors, nurses, even strangers. Her voice, silent for decades, returned. She was released a year later and has lived quietly ever since. When asked about her sister, she said, "We were one. We had to die so I could live." To this day, no one fully understands what happened between the silent twins. Was it mental illness, codependency, or something far beyond our understanding? A bond so strong that life itself couldn't contain it. Some mysteries aren't meant to be solved, only remembered. You've been listening to The Hollow Hour. Subscribe for more true stories that whisper between sanity and shadow. Because the silence never really ends.